Welcome to the name game. Workout number 103 is whoop, there it is. 4-time 100 meter run, 10 thrusters at 135.95, 10 GHD sit-ups, 200 meter run, 20 thrusters at 95.65, 20 GHD sit-ups, and finally 400 meter run, 40 thrusters at 45.35, and 40 GHD sit-ups.
What the heck? Who turned the gravity on in here?
And we're off. Chris, what was your first impressions when you were trying to strategize for this workout?
So when I looked at this workout initially, I'm not great at thrusters, and I'm a decent runner. So I said, okay, I'm going to hold a pretty good pace on the assault runner. I'm going to go unbroken on the set of 10 thrusters at 135.
Let's see if he does it.
I do not. No. Ben and I were talking pre-call, and I did not feel good on this workout. My legs were hurting. More like my hips felt pretty junky. And so I didn't do that. I 3-setted the first 10 reps.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. Well, listen, guys, I'm washed up. I'm a class goer now, not super competitive fitnesser like a lot of you guys. And so the original game plan was to do 10. My hips felt really bad, so I didn't. And then it was going to be to do the 20 thrusters at 95 in 2 sets, which I believe I did. Like, I got warm almost as the workout went along.
Yeah.
And then my goal was to try to do the 40 unbroken at the end at 45. And then move smooth on the GHDs.
The GHDs look good, Chris.
Well, yeah, I don't have to squat.
So how hard is the air runner compared to running on land?
So good question. So I wouldn't necessarily say, so it's harder, right? But I wouldn't say it's harder in the sense of like, because I've run on an assault runner as well as like the old school true form runners, right? Which was kind of the original air runner.
Ooh, bold move one side and then back on the air runner.
That's it.
And that way you get a little break before you have to go back into it.
Bingo. I don't want to take too long. And the true form is way tougher because you really got to pull the belt. The assault runner, the belt moves a little bit easier, but you're just slower. Like, your times are just never going to be as fast as like a regular outside run or track run.
I heard that they updated the firmware where it's much more similar to like the times are more similar in when you like line up effort compared to what it like should be. But I don't think most places update their firmware, so it's
I mean, the one I'm running on right now is our newest one, and it's I think one of their newer models. Yeah. So it's probably close. I would say it's definitely closer to a regular outdoor run than the other 3 we have to the left of that. But yeah, as Ben noted, I went with the strategy of changing one side and the other side. One side on the way to the runner, the other side off the runner, just to limit transition times for me, or in an effort, I should say, to limit transition times.
Mm-hmm. Are we making people use a single bar?
I would.
Yeah. So let's say that because there's going to be some people who logistically they can't set up 3 bars because of their gym. So let's set up a single bar and you have to change your own weights.
Yeah.
Just to keep it standard across.
And most competitions are, unless you're at a semifinal, you're just going to have 1 bar.
Yeah.
So you might as well get used to changing weights mid-workout.
Mm-hmm.
So in the middle, I elected to do 12 and then 8. I like descending sets. But you can see me rubbing my knee. My knee did not feel... I'm old, guys. And so my knee did not feel great that day. My hips did not feel great. Here I am, Coach Chris, making excuses, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're just someone who, like, if you don't squat frequently, like, it seems counterintuitive, but your squat positions get worse.
100%. And I we just came off of a 6-week cycle in class where we did not squat much, and now we're squatting more. So my squat feels way better. But yeah, like one of the guys I work with, like he has like a lifetime like 485, 495 back squat. Like he could take 5 months off of squatting and like do 400 no problem.
Yeah.
Like I throw 65% on my back, and I'm like, what the heck? Who turned the gravity on in here?
Yeah, front squats in particular feel that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now your GHDs looks really smooth.
Yeah, so on the GHDs, I try to drive up, touch real lightly at the top, and then I just kind of like get loose and fall to the ground.
Fall back. Yeah.
Yeah, I have no need.
Like finishing a burp or starting a burpee, like you just kind of fall down.
Yeah, a lot of people who are less familiar with the movement will kind of like control themselves a little bit more, and it's like there's really no need to do that. And you have greater time under tension doing that. Now it is tough on your core and your hip flexors to redirect the momentum if you're not familiar with the movement.
Yeah.
But if you have some experience, that's going to be way less taxing.
I remember trying to speed up the deadlifts in the 1 quarterfinals workout, the last one, event 5 this year. And like basically because I wanted to try to minimize my time under tension on my grip. So I was like going through the reps as quick as I possibly could, basically dropping out of the top, which it makes it less taxing on like your glutes at the top, but like your hamstrings at the very bottom have to tense up all at once and create all this tension. So it's like if you choose to do that, it's a better thing, but it also shifts where you're finding the tension and kind of how you're keep going through and accumulating reps. Yeah,
and honestly, that's where like little things in CrossFit that most people, like when people think skill work, they think like, okay, advanced gymnastics, this, that, and the other thing. And it's like, there's skill within like the deadlift movement, right? Are you very controlled in the deadlift movement, or can you hit the top of a deadlift, relax, and kind of race to the bottom without this aggressive bounce at the bottom?
Yeah, like without like losing that position. There's a lot of skills like that. Yeah, totally. Even like, and that's often like, I think we both do this. Like we write a lot of like CrossFit type work and like intervals and stuff where people have to go quick and like mimic race day type pace without like race day fatigue, which is always a helpful thing.
Yep. So yeah, at this section of the workout, I'm on my 400 meter run. For those of you that have an air runner, like I kind of held for most of the run right around 1100 watts. On the 100, I was more at like 1300 to 1400 watts. Yeah. And then as I started to get tired on the 400, in the 10.5 to 1100, but I never dipped below 1000, was never really even close to that, but I'm obviously still very tired.
Yeah. And anytime there's like a cyclical element where it is for a distance, especially versus like for cals, you're always better off treating that a little bit more recovery based and trying to hold a solid pace and not break as much on the other two.
Mm-hmm.
And then just kind of treat that third one as more of a way to modulate your pace.
Yeah. Now in these thrusters, guys, the weight's light. And so as an athlete, I'm trying to ride the line of squat depth to be fast. And there are definitely some no reps in this set right here as I'm watching it. So just as you do it, guys, because an empty barbell is not going to drive you down into the squat like 95 to 135 is. You're going to have to like almost like a wall ball, like force yourself down into that squat.
It's a really good point because a lot of people, they have good depth when they need to have good depth and when the weight pushes them and drives them into it. But when it's lightly tension squats, they tend to cheat it a little bit and realistically probably get a couple no reps in the way as they do that.
Yeah. And honestly, like I said, full disclosure, like because I'm not a great squatter and I have poor speed out of the bottom, for me to even be able to race people who are good squatters, like I have to ride that line. And so like when I was competing way more, like my in-workout strategy was like, okay, let me find that limit. And like if I get a warning or a no rep, I go a little bit lower and that's where I sit for the workout.
And that works really well for in-person competitions.
Right.
Yeah, where like I've totally intentionally done that. Like an in-person competition, I'm like, yeah, this is like a local judge. They're not gonna like be super aggressive in no reps. Like they're just here to have fun. Like I'm gonna cut my reps just a little bit close. And if they no rep me, they no rep me, but usually they don't.
Yeah, and not only that, but like even at higher level competitions, like I'm okay with getting a no rep and adjusting versus like for me, if I continue to squat to like ass to grass rock bottom squats, like I'm going to get dusted just because I don't have the levers, nor do I have.
You could do it. You're just going to lose.
It's like quite literally every time. I'm not super fast twitch there. I don't have great speed out of the bottom. I don't have great levers in a squat. And so it's like, okay, how can I gain an advantage? And that's why we've had conversations on, people built for squatting versus not squatting and how you can still be good at squatting. So for me, it's like, okay, how can I race people and win these races while not having those things? And it's by finding right below parallel and just sitting at that line.
Mm-hmm. And I think that goes for anybody. Like if you have a movement pattern that you're just not as great in, like you have to find a way to still be competitive. Right. Yeah. And obviously a big part of that's training. But there's solutions besides that, like making up time other places and being smart about things.
Yeah. And so right here, I'm very tired. My hips are super tired. And so I had to take a couple breaks.
It's like quads, hip flexors.
Yeah. Mostly hip flexors.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like that combo of squat and GHD is rough on the hip flexors.
These are my last 10 reps.
Particularly when it's be like dynamic out of it too.
Yeah.
Done. 10:54.
Wow. Super tired.
Well done, Chris.
Alrighty, folks, it's that time. Be sure to submit your scores to the leaderboard at zorfitness.com/TNG. You're more than welcome to share this and take it on with some friends. And best of luck on the workout.